It's Champions League Match Day 2, picks edition of the Premier League Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Sign up with the promo code PLGP to get 50% deposit bonus up to $1,000. We're also brought to you by Rhythm. Start crushing college football and the NFL with Rhythm. Get your 7-day free trial today by going to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/RITHMM. Welcome, everybody, to the Premier League Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. My name is Malcolm Bamford, coming to you from Newcastle upon Tyne in the northeast of England. Today is Monday, the 30th of September. We are here to have a review of the Premier League weekend, which finished about 2 hours ago. And it is match day 2 in the Champions League. So we'll have a look around Europe and see what fancies we get. Joining me from somewhere in Nottinghamshire is Mr. Barry Penaluna. Big Bazza, what's happening?
All right, Malcolm, how are we doing? I'm just sitting there thinking it seems like a long time since we last spoke about football. And it's been no longer than normal, but it just seems ages ago we sat here and made our Premier League picks. It's been a long old weekend, hasn't it?
I kind of agree with you, actually. Yeah, I was busy as snakes most of the weekend. I had 3 things to do on Saturday, Barry, and that's two. If I've got 2 things, yeah, that's a lot for me, isn't it? It's dangerous. If I've got 2 to do, I can't function, and I had 3 to do. To the point where I went to bed at 3:45 in the afternoon and listened to the second half of the 3 o'clock kickoffs on the radio, just because I needed to get at least 2 hours sleeping. Because, like I say, dangerous. But it does seem like a very long time, Barry. And the early kickoff, the Newcastle early kickoff, I think makes it a bit different as well. Because even at half time, I said to Bob, "Oh, they didn't put the half times on the big screen," and he said, "There's no half times, dickhead. This is the only game on." I was like, "Oh yeah." So I've been a little bit discombobulated all weekend, Baz. Did you take in any football? You didn't get yourself down to Notts County or anything this weekend?
No, nothing like that this weekend. Just stuff on the TV. Obviously, watched the Newcastle game. Watched Man United Spurs. That was quite funny. And I watched a few bits and bobs of other pieces of stuff.
Yeah, I'm sure we've got a little bit more time to get across the eye catchers tonight from the weekend. In terms of picks, generally rubbish. Couldn't get on the right side of much. I'm pleased Bournemouth hit for me tonight. Bournemouth to score 3 goals, which they did in the first half at a nice price, 13-8 plus 162. Yeah, that finished off on a stronger note because I only made one really bad pick, which we'll come to in a little minute. But I did find winners hard to come by. Started off in Newcastle. The reverse jinx worked, Baz, so they've got me to thank for totally fading them, locking up Manchester City. So I picked Newcastle last week against Fulham. Worst performance of the season. Absolutely faded the arse off them this week. Best performance of the season. I thought they were excellent. And then at the 3 o'clocks before I went to bed, I was first off, I got ahead, I think, in 8 of the 10 games, Barry. Positive cash out. I'd have been 8 of the 10 games. Arsenal are 2-0 up. We've got Arsenal to win to 0. Arsenal to win both halves. No bother. Palace are winning. Yeah, that's all under control. Brentford, who have taken team total over 1.5, scored after 30 seconds. So they've got 89.5 minutes to notch another one. That's all going very well. The 2 really close ones were Brentford West Ham and Forest Fulham for the 1-1 draw of the week. I took Forest Fulham, and obviously Brentford West Ham finished 1-1. How Liverpool didn't cover the handicap is an absolute mystery because they were cruising, gifted Wolves a goal, and probably still should have covered. Villa couldn't hang on. Villa were in front, another one. And then the one bad pick, and I did say this at the time. I'm going back to my notes here. I've just flipped my phone. Man, you are far too short. You can't bet them. And then my last line, which was, I'll take Man United. And we laughed at that at the time. I said I was tying myself in knots. I sit here every week, Baz, laugh at them, slag them off, say they're shit, know they're shit because they're shit, and then give them out as a pick, and then watch them be shit and get roundly humped. So fuck knows what to make of any of that. Bournemouth saved the weekend, Barry. So that was me. I was all over the place. Did you do any better?
Well, I do the same with Man United, except I've picked them twice this season and got them right. I've picked the right spots to get them right. I took Spurs team total and absolutely nailed that with ease. But the week, again, very much like every other week at the moment, 5 winners, 5 losers. I took the Arsenal game over 3.5 goals. That was easy enough and a good plus money price. I took the unders in the Forest game, and I did say it's going to be 1-0.
Yeah, nice.
Pointed out the 1-0 either way. One of them would nick it by a single goal, so that was good. Spurs team total, Chelsea, and we tagged on the over 1.5 because you can't just back them at a short strike like you did. And I also took the Chelsea as my lock, so I'm still 100% for my locks, Malcolm. I think you blew it this weekend. But yeah, 6 out of 6 for the locks. And Bournemouth tonight was the final one for me. So 5 out of 5. The ladder wasn't a disaster. It got to the first rung. Semenyo got to 4. So we cashed the main pick, but it didn't go any higher. So in terms of my the way I played, it's a break even. If you hit the first rung, you break even. Anything above that, you cash and profit. But we count that as a winner. We'll hit the first rung on the ladder, so we'll take that. The other stuff was poor. Nicholas Jackson not getting a goal despite Chelsea winning.
God, that was another one. Like, gone round the keeper twice and not fucking scored. Go on, Nicholas, do us a favour, slot one in.
And then my ACCA was let down by Villa. I had Chelsea, Villa, Bournemouth was my first ACCA. And like you, very close on everything. So I still feel like I'm looking at games in the right way.
Yeah.
1 goal away on everything. I had the Everton game to be a draw, 1 goal off. I needed another Liverpool goal for the handicap. Brentford, as you see, got off to a good start. So everything that didn't hit was a whisker away. Villa not seeing it out against Villa. Villa not seeing it out against Ipswich. You mentioned Brentford taking the lead in 30 seconds. Do you realise they've done that in 3 straight games now?
Absolutely astonishing. Like, must be 1,000,000 to 1 shot.
3 goals in the last 3 games inside 40 seconds. Every one of them inside 40. It's just unbelievable. So yeah, mixed week once again. Very, very similar to how the rest of the season's gone. But I do feel like I'm close on everything. So you can't be too angry. Like I didn't make any horrific picks like you in backing Man United. That would just be silly.
It really would be. Everton was the other one that made me laugh because I've sat here and talked them up every week, where they've found every which way to lose possible. And I'm saying, you know what? I don't think they're that bad. And I took Palace this week, and Dwight McNeil smashes into worldy, so that was the end of that. We'll have a little look through the eye catchers because there was some good stuff happening this weekend. I'm already laughing at Man United. We haven't started yet. What we're going to need to say? I need to say that SGPN has got the most degen pre-game shows in the world, apparently. Saturday, the College Experience YouTube live start at 11 a.m. Eastern for the NFL Propcast. Kicks off at 11 a.m. Sunday, followed by SGP at noon. Last second bets, degen parlays, your calls, and more. It's the first NFL London game of the year this week, Baz. And last year we did this NFL pre-game for the London games. Now, I'm not saying that the bosses haven't renewed us doing that show, but did you notice they archived the group chat on Slack a couple of weeks ago?
Yeah, I noticed the pre-game show chat we got booted out of it, I think.
Exactly.
Yeah. But I did also notice that Joe Dollar, who was in the chat, did put a tweet out today saying he's hoping for a SGPN Premier League and NFL UK crossover. So, he's putting the word out. But, until the bosses come knocking on the door, who knows?
Yeah, Sean and Ryan, men a few words, but did just boot us out of the. There's this Slack group with about 20 people in. Me and Baz got turfed out. So, we're very perceptive, men. The clues are there, Baz. Maybe we're not getting a second season of the NFL pre-game UK show, but we'll see. The chat is I was going to say lit then. Probably, I worked at a 21st birthday party on Saturday with the young people. The fucking young people are mad. They're absolutely bonkers. A lot of them. They don't like wearing the old clothes there, the young ladies, Baz. Not so much with wearing the clothes. But everyone was very well behaved. They were very nice young people. I enjoyed that. Callum was first in. Callum was whinging. Very, I don't know if the word's demanding, needy almost, I would say, saying, is this show moving permanently to Monday? Well, we don't know, is the answer, Callum. Depends what me and Baz, if we can be asked. We do like to sit and watch the NFL on a Sunday night. But also, once the baseball season finishes, that frees me up a little bit. Joe Dollar, as you mentioned, Bootle's in. Andy, how you doing? Steve Gregory hit his David Raya over saves, which was a nice touch. Who else is here? I'm sure there's more people kicking around. Oh, Shane Wright was having a good laugh at me on Saturday. That worked, Shane. That was the reverse mush. Newcastle picked up a point. So that worked okay. If you are lurking in the chat, by all means, say hello. I catch us then, Baz. Should we start with Man United? Because it was just fucking great, wasn't it? I went to the pub, actually. I went down to Gossy Hotel because one of my mates is a Tottenham fan. He's not a real Tottenham fan, but he claims he is. So I went down to Gossy Hotel. I downloaded the app on my phone, got a free pint of Guinness. Hey, tomorrow's world. So that went well. But honest to God, they were just dog shit. That first goal is one of the funniest things since they conceded the exact same goal on Wednesday night against 20, when the fullback runs 85 yards unopposed. The worst thing about that, though, no one else has mentioned this. Mickey van der Ven goes down the left-hand side and beats everyone scores. At the from about 40 yards out, when van der Ven's got the ball, Dalot is just stood at the back post apologising.
Yeah.
He's got every time in the world to run back. But wait, he puts his hand up. Fuck this, lad. I'm just apologising now, but I'm not chasing him. There's no way I'm chasing him back. And he just apologises the entire way back as Brennan Johnson runs in and slots it at the back post. And it's insane, Barry. It's absolute insanity. And he appears to have got away with that. So I have that one on me, lads. That's all me, that. No problem. Absolute madness. Bruno Fernandes' tackle was much worse than Martinez's 2-footer last week, though, wasn't it? Much worse.
Absolutely brutal. Absolutely horrible. He's a savage. Absolute savage, Bruno Fernandes. I don't know how.
I'm not feeling sorry for them at all, because you can see why he sent him off, and he did look like maybe Flickers. But that one compared to the one the week before, fucking ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous.
I mean, to be fair, I think in the referee's defence on it, in real time, it does look like he's gone for him and gone for him high. And the referees give it, obviously, on the field. And I did think, I didn't see VAR overturning it. But if the referee hadn't give it, there was absolutely no way VAR would be recommending a red card for it. Because it wasn't a horrible challenge, really, was it? It was a yellow card because he knew what he was doing. He was sticking a leg out to try and trip him up. And he doesn't catch him in a bad way or anything. So, yeah, it was you'd be rightly aggrieved if that one goes against you.
Yeah, but I mean, hey, listen, you've got to give Ten Hag a bit of time. He's only had 3 years. Needs a few players in. You can't.
I mean, I was reading last week. He was talking again about how he's having to, bring in a few kids because they haven't got the money. They're a little bit restricted financially. I mean, the youth he's talking about having to bring in is Amad Diallo, Garnacho, and Mainu. I mean, you could argue they're the ones who are actually playing okay.
Yeah.
I mean, they aren't the problem. Let's talk about Casemiro, Anthony, Højlund, Mount, Onana. That's £300 million you've spent on there. And what have they had back from them? Half a good season out of Casemiro. The rest of them have done absolutely nothing. He spent another 200 million in the transfer window, and nothing's changed. De Ligt, Ugart, Mazraoui, Xerxes, Yoro, nothing has changed. They're the same shite they were last year. It's absolutely shocking. He's an absolute fraud, that bloke. I read a stat today. There was a table of the players to have created the most chances at Old Trafford this season. Now, bearing in mind, Man United play at home at Old Trafford, so they play there more often than anybody else does. Top of the table, Kulusevski with 9 chances created. So obviously that was all yesterday. 6 of them, by the way, were before the red card as well. So it wasn't just down to 10 men Kulusevski's taken advantage. And second in the table is Pereira from Fulham, for fuck's sake. And then you get the Casemiro. Casemiro's third in the ranking of players to have created big chances at Old Trafford. Absolutely shocking. And I said it last week about Man United. Nobody fears going to Old Trafford anymore. Gone on the days where anybody thinks it's going to be a hard game there. They don't strike fear into anyone anymore. So, nothing surprising for me about that result and that performance. Ten Hag on a thread.
Yeah, and I adored every second of it. It was great. Pete's joined us. Pete, if you don't follow Pete's Picks on Twitter, go to our page. You'll see Pete following us. Threw out a 7-1 shot on the GGs today. Normally gives 2 or 3 decent picks every day. Pete, so appreciate that. Again, as soon as that first goal went in yesterday, the entire pub goes up. I really like that everyone's just against them as well. Everyone in the chat here. Absolutely love it. So they were dog shit. Didn't really learn anything about Tottenham because when we come to handicap Tottenham for next weekend, you won't handicap them any differently than you did before that Man United match because anybody could have gone and turned Man United over. Chelsea, worth noting, we were very strong on Chelsea last week to win in all manner of ways. It was a little bit of a weird one. The goalkeeper's a bit of an accident waiting to happen. But I do feel like we've read Chelsea quite well this year, Baz. We said at the start of the season when Maresca made that statement was, I don't give a fuck about those other 42 blokes. I'm going to deal with these people and I'm going to get them playing. And we said if he can do that and if he's legit about that, then they'll be fine. And that's exactly what he's done. And they've been absolutely great. And Cole Palmer, obviously a real coming of age at the weekend. Outstanding. Probably one of the best players in the country at the minute. You could put him above De Bruyne. I mean, who else do you want to put in the bracket there with Cole Palmer? He's just been absolutely outstanding, hasn't
he? Yeah, absolutely. I mean, they are building up a good head of steam. The challenge is, and is it a challenge? It doesn't matter. I suppose if he can keep his favourites fit and playing well, fair enough. But you do look at where does Sancho, Felix, Neto, and all of these lot fit into it? Because it's going to be hard to keep them happy over long term. But as you say, maybe he doesn't give a fuck. They're winning and playing well and building up a bit of a head of steam now. So yeah, I've had to pull the trigger on a transfer in my fantasy football this week and get Cole Palmer in. Even though actually Chelsea's fixtures do change a bit. They've got the likes of Arsenal, Newcastle, Man United, Liverpool all coming up. So it does change a little bit. So it'll be interesting to see how they get through the next 5. I think they've got Forest this weekend, maybe. But after that, they have got a little tough run of fixtures coming up. So yeah, we'll see where they are in after 10 games and see whether they're the real deal. But at the moment, you've got to factor them in alongside Arsenal, Liverpool and Man City because they're up there looking the business.
Talking about Man City and Newcastle, sent to Bob on the bus on the way in on Saturday morning. I just want to see us look like the old Newcastle. I don't mind getting beat. You expect to go and get beat off Man City. And even if we did, he gets to sit and watch Haaland and people like that, you know. But I just want to see us do what because we used to be a nuisance. Like people used to hate coming in. Last Saturday, I didn't enjoy that Fulham game. There was something off. And all of a sudden, we did. That's exactly what we did. We were great. We were absolutely great. That game ebbed and flowed in both directions. Newcastle's XG was literally double that of Manchester City. And I don't know when the last time that would have happened in a Man City game. I think it was 1.6 to 0.8. We had a penalty. We could have had another penalty. Their keeper's made a good save. Haaland had one shot on target in the first half, which cashed the super boost, which was a nice touch. But got absolutely pocketed off Big Dan Burn. Newcastle were great and played with that purpose and looked like the old Newcastle. They've got to follow it up this weekend away at Everton. They can't just go back because away from home, we've been dog shit for 2 years. You've got to go and do it again. And Man City just looked a little bit vulnerable. We talked about the Rodri thing. We said it might cost them and it might end up costing them longer term against maybe in the later rounds of the Champions League or next time they play Arsenal, Liverpool, stuff like that. But they leave Savino on the bench. They leave Dogo on the bench. I like that. When I saw their team, I thought, yeah, we've got a chance here. Because Bernardo Silva stuck out on the right wing, doesn't do anything for me. Jack Grealish does fuck all. He got the assist, but by accident. Like, Trippier wiped him out and he bounced back off his knees in front of him. Grealish did absolutely nothing. He's a right minge. And the rest of them are just, look, they're all right, but they're not impregnable. They're not absolutely infallible. So you're a little bit vulnerable for Man City, Baz. Where'd you watch the Newcastle match in the house?
I mean, yeah, I still do. I still think Man City will be okay. And to call them vulnerable, having lost a game in 10 months now in the Premier League, is a little bit much. I think they'll be okay. But I did say last week, and I wasn't bold enough to take it, but Newcastle have done well against City at home in recent years. So the performance and the display was what we'd seen in the last couple of years for Newcastle against Man City at home. Based on what we'd seen earlier in the season, neither of us were confident enough to think that would happen. So it was good to see from Newcastle. I'm personally not too concerned if I was looking at it from a Man City point of view. But yeah, really good performance, really good to see. But it's like you say, can we follow it up with an away game? Because that's where we've struggled. We can't do anything away from home at the moment, so needs to be better.
And the final one I wanted to mention was Arsenal, just because there's no conspiracy against them this week because they got away with a blatant red card. So I don't know what's happened to the Premier League conspiracy this week, but it appears to have been shelved for a week because Calafiori somehow stayed on the pitch in what was a madness of a game for Arsenal. So I think that's my eye catchers caught up. Baz, anything else?
Yeah, I thought Ipswich gave a good account of themselves against Villa. Yeah. Disappointing for us, but played well. At the same time, that's 3 points they've got at the moment, and they do need to start winning games. But they had opportunities to win that game later on against Villa. So I think Ipswich looked better, a little bit of an eye catcher for me.
So 4 draws in a row did they get? No, have I
maybe 4 in a row. You might be right. Yeah, obviously they lost the first 2. Liverpool and
Delapton all right was the world's slowest step over. That set the winner up. I enjoyed that. The really high need step over. Talking about Villa, who's in the chat there talking? It might be Steve. Yeah, Steve Gregory saying that Villa just don't look the same without McGinn, which is funny. I quite like John McGinn. I like it. It's just someone who's a little bit different. He doesn't look like all the other players. It's just like a little fat bloke running around, isn't he? But Villa aren't the same without him, and he's injured. And in part, Villa did play okay, but you always thought Ipswich were in that game, and Ipswich were going to do that. So Steve saying he took, after about 5 minutes, when he realised Villa weren't as good, he took Bayern minus half a goal for the Champions League this week. So we're going to get onto those games. Yes, Baz, anything else? Can we move on?
No, I think that's it from Premier League for me.
Okey-doke. We'll move on once I've told you about. Have I done that underdog one? I haven't, Baz.
I don't think so.
Memory's gone. You think so? Absolutely.
No, I don't. No, I don't think you have. I don't know. I don't know what you've done.
I've done the one where we talked about not getting the show renewed. Has anyone in the chat heard the underdog fantasy? The problem I've got is I've done the MLB show about an hour ago. So now I can't remember it. I think I've read the words, but I don't know if I've read the words at 9 o'clock or I read the words about 12 minutes ago.
Yeah, when you read the first proper ads out, I normally write the time down so I can.
So you haven't done it?
Timestamp it, and I haven't got that, so I'm assuming you haven't.
Right. Well, I'll tell you what, Baz. Very proud of our sponsor, Underdog Fantasy here. No, I haven't done it, Underdog Pick'em has got one of the biggest menus for all the sports, NFL, college football, MLB, MMA, WNBA, NASCAR, and more. The lobby is jam-packed with profits and boosts. Use our code PLGP to claim a special pick and first-time deposit offer up to $1,000 in bonus cash. UnderdogFantasy.com, promo code PLGP. So, Champions League, Baz. Did we do any good on the Champions League match day one? I don't think we did.
I think I did. You didn't. I did. Let's just say that.
Yeah, that sounds about right, Baz. I picked 4 games. What have you done? 4 games?
4 games, yeah.
I do not know which games you picked.
I reckon 3 of ours are going to clash. Just a guess.
Well, that is a possibility. We'll start with, so we've got 8 games on Tuesday and 8 games on Wednesday in the new Giant format. Bet 365, there's a little offer on the top here. I don't know if anyone. It says money back in free bets available on any of Tuesday's late kickoffs. But there's no further details, so I don't know what that means. So if you are a 365 user, just keep your eyes peeled on that offer tomorrow, because I don't know what it is, but you might be able to get a free go on something. What are you saying, Baz?
Great advice. Keep an eye on that offer. I have no idea what it is, but have a look.
Well, it says if you open the page, it says there. All it says is money back in free bets available on any of Tuesday's late kickoffs. But I'm not assuming that you can just bet anything you want, and if you lose, they'll give you your money back. There's got to be some sort of caveat. I just don't know what it is because it doesn't say anything else. My first pick is 8 o'clock on Tuesday. I'll try and do these chronologically. I don't think we know to in any sort of order. Arsenal v PSG, Baz. Are you into that one?
No, I'm into that one, yeah.
Barry's into that one. Double bubble. Arsenal are 7-10, minus 142. The draw's 11-4, plus 275. PSG are 15-4, plus 375. Arsenal in Matchday 1 went to Atalanta and drew 0-0. PSG in Matchday 1. Well, I did have a winner, so because this one, by the way, PSG on the handy, Girona on the handicap.
That was a fortuitous one as well.
Oh, fucking hell. I'd rather be lucky than good, Baz. PSG beat Girona 1-0 with a late goal. Wasn't it? What's his name? Old Vicario? No, he's the new. Gazzaniga, the old Tottenham keeper. And I like the unders again, Barry. That's going to be me play here. Arsenal started the Premier League season with 4 consecutive under 2.5s. They've then had the odd 2-2 against Manchester City, and then a really odd 4-2 in a bit of a mismatch, really, with Leicester. PSG, we say just about every time we do them, you can't read much into their domestic form here. I still don't think they've got a top striker, which was absolutely demonstrable in that game against Girona. As much as they did make a million chances, but they got no fucker up front to put them in. Sky tonight was showing the XG stats, goals compared to chances created. Man United with the top in disparity because they haven't got a striker. They've got the Fellaini 2.0 standing up front. The second team was Southampton. They haven't got a striker. You've got to have a striker. That's how it works. So don't give me this XG shit if you haven't bothered buying someone who can kick it in the goal. So Arsenal is solid at the back, generally speaking. Like I say, Saturday was a bit of an odd one. But this is plus money. It's odds against, Barry. Under 2.5 is 11-10, plus 110.
I don't mind that. It's not where I've gone, but I don't mind it at all, and it can work for me as well. 2 teams, both unbeaten so far this season. Arsenal with draws against Man City and Brighton in the league, and a draw against Atlanta in this competition on match day 1. PSG have had 1 draw against Reims in the league, but won everything else, including the Champions League opener against Girona, as you mentioned. I took them on the handicap in that game, went exact opposite of you. You got very fortunate with that. PSG definitely should have scored more. But as you say, didn't have a striker. Arsenal going well towards the top of the table, but it hasn't all been plain sailing for Arsenal. They were, as you say, there's been a lot of unders. I think they were second best against Atalanta. Needed a penalty save to keep them in it. They needed 2 injury time goals against Leicester, and I know they were all over Leicester at that point, so there was nothing lucky about it. They got probably what they deserved out of the game, but they still rode the luck, you would have to say, in terms of leaving it late against Leicester. Rode the luck at times against Villa this season as well. And despite Spurs barely laying a glove on Arsenal in the North London derby, they still failed to carve out a load of chances themselves, Arsenal. So I don't think it's been all smooth so far. And although I've bigged up the defence on several occasions so far, they haven't kept a clean sheet in the last 3. They've conceded 5 goals in the last 3. So I like PSG here. PSG are off to a good start. They've got plenty of goals domestically, and I know you always like to knock that back and just disregard anything they do in France. But at 4-1, right, PSG are a big price. 4-1's a big price here. I think they're a better opponent than Atalanta are, and Arsenal couldn't beat them. I just think PSG can get something here. PSG 11-10 plus money price on the double chance market to get a win or a draw. Like you, I think it will be low scoring. Someone might nick it, or it might end up a 0-0 or a 1-1. I just think PSG are the value here. PSG double chance for me to win or draw at 11-10.
Just realised we haven't done the Newcastle Wimbledon League Cup match, Baz. I'm going to the match tomorrow night. Yeah, we haven't done that. I'll pick your goal scorer for that later. Go on then. You go next. What you got?
Next up for me is Dortmund v Celtic. So it's also a Tuesday night game. I'm assuming you will have the prices there for that one.
I have also picked that game. Barry, we could go 4 for 4 here, you know.
No, I told you it's 3 of 4, definitely.
3 or 4, it's on. We need to take bets on this before we start in future. Yeah, Borussia Dortmund are 1-2, minus 200. The draw is 15-4, plus 375. Celtic are, line movement report. Celtic were 5-1. Are now 19-4, plus 475. So the Sweaty Sox have been nipped in a quarter of a point, Baz.
Yeah, so this one just stood out for me as a possible one for goals. I mean, we often talk about how the Scottish League is a little bit of a joke and how Scottish teams can't compete at this level in the Champions League. But I'm inclined to give Celtic a little bit of credit on what they've done so far this season. I know you talked them down before the Bratislava game, got that spectacularly wrong as they went and won 4-5.
Gave out Bratislava as an underdog, lost 5-1.
5-1 that one. Celtic now won 9 of 9 so far this season, and they've scored at least 5 in each of the last 3 games. Now, obviously, I do caveat that with that's a lot of Scottish football involved there. But I just think that sort of stuff does have them coming into the game full of belief, a bit of momentum, and probably with a bit of willingness to go and have a go at Dortmund, because Dortmund can concede goals against anyone as well. No doubt, big step up, and I certainly wouldn't be coming into this thinking I want to go back Celtic. But I think Celtic can be factored in for goals. Dortmund's last 3 league games have seen 18 goals in total. Dortmund have scored 9 and conceded 9 in the space of 3 games in the league. They won 3-0 over Club Brugge in the first leg, the first game of the Champions League. That was a fortunate clean sheet. Club Brugge outshot them, had more shots on target, I think, and a similar XG to Dortmund. Brugge really should have got on the score sheet. I think Dortmund will probably win this, but I think Celtic can get on the score sheet. So I was down to 2 options here. I was looking at the both teams to score over 2.5. That interested me a little bit, but I've decided to go for the over 3.5 instead, because 3 in a row for Celtic have just hit over 3.5. 3 of the last 4 Dortmund games have gone over 3.5. And even if I'm wrong about Celtic and Celtic don't get their goal, you wouldn't put it past Dortmund being able to get 4 themselves against Celtic on their day at home against Scottish opposition. So the over 3.5 is what I like. I do like this game for goals. Dortmund v Celtic, over 3.5 goals at 13-10.
So Callum comes straight in the chat there and put Shirley Dortmund handicap. And that's where I started, because you're looking up and down the list. It's a big fucking list of 16 games. And you say Dortmund Celtic 1-2, and I was just thinking, can I pinch you? Can I pinch one here? Can I have a lazy handicap and give out a even money or a 11-10 winner or something like that? And then I got into it, Baz, and I came down exactly the same side as you. Dortmund, very good 3-0 win. In Bruges, 3 home Bundesliga wins, 2-0, 4-2, 4-2. So cover the handicap every time. But no, I'm not sure Celtic are up to that level, but the 5-1 win v Bratislava, 6 out of 6 in Scotland, scored 20. They haven't conceded a goal yet. It's fucking insane. This could be absolutely chaos, Barry. I definitely think Celtic can contribute. There's 2 angles in here. The first one is the shots market. I'm quite keen on the shots market lately. I should have taken that at the weekend, by the way. Tottenham shots market was what I said. The bookies had gone up to 29.5. It finished on about $1 million. So we're at 27.5 again here. That tends to be the default line. This could be a basketball game. So 27.5 shots is 5-6, minus 120. But my pick, Barry, is your pick, over 3.5 goals. Exactly the same play, 13-10, plus 130. I think Celtic can get one. You've got the safety net at home in 4. Dortmund 3, Celtic 1. Sounds reasonable. Yeah, same play, Baz.
Nice.
We'll move on. I've got a couple more picks. See if we've teamed up again. I'm going to tell you about our proud partner, Rhythm, the #1 AI-powered sports betting platform that helps provide bettors of all levels the ability to build custom predictive betting models in seconds. You can build your own model. You can copy one of the top performing models from the leaderboard, or just press build a model and Rhythm will sort you out predictions for every game, player props, trends, stats, betting insights, everything you want. Claim your 7-day free trial by going to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/rhythm. That's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/RITHMM. And BetUS, best in the business, been around for over 30 years. You can deposit using crypto and get lightning fast payouts. Use our link to sign up and get a 125% deposit bonus on your first 3 deposits. Go to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/BetUS. Promo code SGPN so they know we sent you. BetUS is America's favourite sports book. My next game is on Wednesday at 8 o'clock. When's my last one? Hang on. I might have to time travel back. Oh, yeah, because right. Sorry, that Tuesday, 8 o'clock, Barry. PSV Eindhoven against Sporting Lisbon. PSV are 14-9 plus 155. The draw 12-5 plus 240. And Sporting are 17-10 plus 170. Baz, you got this one?
Nope.
No. It's a miss, Barry. The 3 out of 4 still on, Baz. This just looks like a really good game. Looks like a proper fun game. 2 sides that have mirrored each other's domestic form completely. PSV competed okay against Juventus on match day 1. They got beat 3-1 in Italy, no disgrace. But they're flying at home. They've won 7 of 7 and have scored 25 goals. Sporting Lisbon got a 2-0 win against Lille on match day 1, but are 7 from 7 in Portugal, scored 25 goals. So identical records for the 2. Just screams goals, Baz. The both teams to score over 2.5 is 3-4, minus 133. Both teams to score an over 3.5, I like. That's 6-4, plus 140. Because, Baz, this is going to finish 2-2, which is priced up at 10-1. So goals, PSV v Sporting Lisbon.
Yeah, I haven't got that. I'm straight into Wednesday. I've got 2 Wednesday picks. Is that you done with your Tuesday stuff?
Got 1 Wednesday pick, Baz.
Yeah, that'll be Aston Villa v Bayern, is it?
No, it's not.
Ooh, we've still got a chance. No, I've still got a chance because I've got 2 on Wednesday. So the one I've got, we could still hit 3 of 4 clashes here, but we'll see. Anyway, Aston Villa Bayern, you got the prices up there, Malcolm?
You put me to work, yeah, Baz, last couple of weeks. Aston Villa are 31-10, plus 310. The draw is 31-10, plus 310. Bayern Munich 3-4, minus 133.
Yeah, so I've jumped into this one. I think I wanted to fade Villa was what I wanted, and I mean, look at Bayern first up. They had their first slip up of the season, a 1-1 draw at the weekend against Leverkusen. Leverkusen, look, won the title last year, look to be the main challengers again this season. So probably no disgrace in the 1-1 draw there. Prior to that, they'd won every game. They'd scored 20 goals in their previous 3 games, including that crazy 9-2 on match day 1, which is a bit nuts. Kane's already got 11 goals this season. I'm not liking the fact that Bootle's just put in that Kane is doubtful.
Yeah, he limped off against Leverkusen at the weekend, but
on a par with Haaland so far, both on 11 goals and all things. So Kane being out would obviously be a blow, but I still don't think it would put us off Bayern, to be honest. I mean, Villa have obviously been off to a great start. Still just a defeat to Arsenal. The concern for me with Villa is their lack of clean sheets. They had a clean sheet against Young Boys in the first round of games for this. That's the only shutout they've had all season. They've conceded to Wickham, Wolves, Leicester. You look at teams like Everton have scored 2 against them. Ipswich have scored 2 against them. Arsenal did. And now up against Bayern, who are full of goals. I just have to favour Bayern here. And it's just because of those vulnerabilities at the back for Villa. I thought about Bayern team totals, but you'd have to go for 3 or more to get a decent price. And if they get 3, I think they win here. The safest play for me, I think, is just to take Bayern. A little bit of a short price, but I do like Bayern at 3 to 4 to beat Villa here. I think Bayern will get the win one way or another, with or without Kane.
Yeah, I didn't pick this game, Baz. It's interesting. It's going to be fun. If I was not at the Newcastle match, this is the game I'd probably put on the telly. It's got vibes of Newcastle PSG last year for us, and obviously what a great night and the occasion and the 4-1 win and all that. And that, even remembering that, would kind of put me off just taking Munich a little bit, even though the things are entirely unrelated. But yeah, I agree with you. It should be a good game. Ultimately, I couldn't give a shit. If Villa get beat, I'll shrug my shoulders and not be bothered. But it'd be interesting to see. Baz, I've got this much money. You can guess how much it is. You can have it.
10 pence.
£2.10, Baz. You missed out on quite a lot of cash there. £1, 50 and 3 20s. Unlucky. I've got one game on, where we go, on Wednesday night. My last game, Barry, for the jackpot is... Where is it? Oh, there it is. It's Benfica against Atletico Madrid. You win, Baz?
Nope.
No, mate. You've suffered back-to-back losses there in quick succession. You've lost the money game and then you've lost
good
that.
for the listeners. They get 2 more games out of us instead of 1.
Yeah. Value for money, that is, listeners. That's more than £2.10. Benfica are 2 to 1. Draw is 12 to 5 plus £2.40. Atletico Madrid are 23 to 17 plus 135. Benfica beat Crvena Zvezda 2-1 in Belgrade, match day 1. Atletico Madrid had a 2-1 home win against RB Leipzig. And 2-1 to someone here, I think, is a good place to start. Benfica have scored 1, 3, 4, and 5 in their home league games. And then you can add those 2 away in Belgrade last time out. Atletico, in La Liga, their games have been a little bit tighter, actually, as you'd imagine. Their 4 wins have all come with clean sheets. But I think Benfica can get a goal here. Benfica scored 3 in each of the last 2 home Champions League games last year, including a 3-3 v Inter. I can't remember who the other one was against. They beat somebody not very good, scoring 3 goals as well. So I think we're going to see some goals here. Like I say, I think it's 2-1 to someone, Baz. I've got the both teams to score over 2.5. This is a nice plus price, this one. It's 15 to 13 plus 115, Barry.
Nice, yeah. So finishing off for me, I've got the Dynamo Zagreb versus Monaco. And again, I'm over to you for the odds. Actually, I've got the odds here, so we'll be fine. 15 to 4 Dynamo Zagreb, which is what? Plus 450, maybe?
It's 375.
Yeah, close. 29 to 10 the draw, plus 290, and 7 to 10, which is
minus 142.
There you go. That's Monaco for you. Yeah, I think Dynamo obviously got off to a horrible start to the season. They lost the first 3 games of football competitively, one of them including that 9-2 against Bayern. So they lost the first 2 league games. They've won a couple of in a row domestically most recently, but they did concede in each of those games as well. So Dynamo are not off to a decent start. Monaco on at the same level as Bayern, obviously, but they are better than what Zagreb deal with week to week in Croatia. They've got off to a really strong start in France, sitting behind PSG at the moment, but unbeaten in the league. They also beat Barcelona on match day 1, albeit Barcelona down to 10 men for about 80 minutes in that game. But they finished second to PSG last season. They finished the season really strongly as well last year in France, lost only once in the last 12. Monaco are just a tough side to beat. and I don't think Zagreb are on their level at all. I think Monaco for goals here. Over 1.5 is where I'd start. It's 4 to 6, a very short pick. So I'm going to balance it out. I'm going to go for the over 2.5 as well. So 2 picks here. Monaco over 1.5 team total at 4 to 6, and Monaco over 2.5 team total at 9 to 4. So yeah, it was a little bit of a short price one, but a slightly bigger price one if you want to be a bit more ambitious. I think Monaco will get at least 3 goals. Yeah.
Yeah, I saw bits and bobs of that Monaco game last time against Barca. Obviously, the red card changed things, but they did look dangerous. Like they look like lively going forwards. So I agree with that. And that's you all done then, Baz, is it?
In terms of Champions League, I just wanted to mention one other thing. Your mate Andy will like this, but I can't get my head around Wrexham's price. They're 15 to 8 down in League One to beat Stevenage. Stevenage are the home side, but I think Wrexham look a standout price as a bit of an underdog at 15 to 8. So an extra one to keep your eye out for on Tuesday night, I think. Yeah, keep an eye out for Wrexham at 15 to 8. Looks a big price.
It's fucking loads of Championship, isn't there? God, we could have done a 5-hour show, yeah. Championship, League One. I'm going to give you a goal scorer in the Newcastle Wimbledon game. That's is what I'm going to do. I've worked out the team, and one of my favourite bets, goal scorer bet for this player. I bet he's not even going to be listed now. No, he's not on the list even. I wanted to put out Jamal Lascelles as a first or anytime goal scorer.
He's only got half a knee.
Is he not playing?
He's got a cruciate ligament injury. He's out for about
has he?
Another 6 months.
I just thought he was sitting off for a bit because he couldn't be asked. Matt Targett's on the list, but he was out with eczema at the weekend. I've never seen that before, by the way.
Yeah, that's a different one.
Big list. Eddie Howe was like, Alexander Isak, broken toe, so-and-so, ACL injury, Matt Targett, eczema. It was like that bloke thing out of The Office, wasn't it? What's your biggest weakness? Eczema. Right, okay. We'll scrap edit that out, Baz. I look like a right tit. We'll take that out. We'll go with, it's got to be, I'll tell you what, it's got to be a Sean Longstaff ladder, hasn't it? Longstaff loves getting a shot off. Terzer's virtually retired by taking Sean Longstaff shot ladders over the last couple of seasons. You get about 9 off tomorrow, no problem. So yeah, take a Sean Longstaff ladder. Baz, I think we're done. You got anything else to tell the people before we go?
Yeah, I was just trying to have a quick look at the old Sean Longstaff shots and seeing where they go. But yeah, over 1.5 Sean Longstaff shots, 11 to 8. It's not a bad starting point.
Is that a fucking hell? You'll have that by 8:15 tomorrow.
Take him for shots on target. 1 on target over is 6 to 4. 9 to 1 have 2 on target. So shots on target would appeal to me more at fancier prices.
Right. Scrap all those Champions League picks. If you just ignore that, delete the last 45 minutes of your life. Everything you were going to put on the Champions League, get it on Sean Longstaff. Baz.
Yeah, William Osula is the one I would have looked at, but he's a bit of a short price, to be honest. I think he'll start tomorrow, surely. With Isak not around and sure to be a few changes for Newcastle, I would expect Osula to start. Yeah, I'd keep an eye on him. But yeah,
champion.
Enjoy the game.
Right. Thank you very much, Baz. Thank you, everybody. Joe Dollar's asking what time the National League show is. We'll do it. That sort of gets on the YouTube shorts, by the way. So if you don't get across to YouTube, we very often throw out some equally bad picks on there as well. So thanks everyone who joined us. Callum, Andy, Pete, Shane, Brutal Steve, Joe. Nice to have Joe live. Resident Arsenal fan. They didn't get too much stick tonight, so we appreciate that. Thursday night, Baz, more than likely for the Premier League pick show. Do we think? Yeah, just Callum's getting a bit angsty about our scheduling. Like
he needs to get in his day. He's a busy lad, Callum. It doesn't matter what time we put it doesn't matter what time we put this show out. Callum will be there. I don't know why he's concerned.
Yeah, he's fucking hell, claiming he's got lots on. He played in goal at 5-a-side tonight, Baz. Wasn't a patch on you. They got beat. They won 6-5, but he said he was shy. Yeah, we'll go Thursday night, Callum, if you can clear your diary for that. Thanks, everyone. Good luck with your picks. All aboard Sean Longstaff, and we will see you down the road. Cheers.